Good afternoon folks, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again and another scenery review, the first of this week. We are in Asia, we're in Malaysia, and you're looking at Penang International Airport, Whiskey Mike Kilo Papa. This is a payware scenery by Shadescene. It's a company I've not come across before, and we're looking at version 1.1, which is available for the PC and for Xbox. Download is 370 meg and it installs at 1.1 gig, and it's available from SimMarket and Flightsim.To, and slightly cheaper at the latter, although there's not much in it. I'll give you the SimMarket price. It's €14.39, which equates to roughly $15.69 US, or £12.32 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are all estimates converted from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT, which may vary depending on the country of purchase or wherever you live when you purchase it. I don't think this is available in the marketplace just yet, but as I said, it is available on Flightsim.To, slightly cheaper, although there's not much in it, which would suggest that it's available for Xbox as well. So I've had a look over this scenery. There is another scenery available from a different developer with an upgrade recently released it, and to be honest, this is hugely better, but we'll go into that shortly. So as ever, let's start with some history. So history: Penang International Airport, Whiskey Mike Kilo Papa, is an airport owned and operated by Malaysian Airports and is located in northern Malaysia near the Bayan Lepas at the southeastern tip of Penang Island, some 10 miles or 16 kilometers south of Penang city centre. The airport is the third busiest airport in Malaysia in terms of passenger traffic and the second busiest in terms of cargo tonnage. The airport recorded over 7 million tourist arrivals in 2017 and is also the main hub for Firefly Airlines and a secondary hub for AirAsia. The airport, and previously named Bayan Lepas International Airport, was completed in 1935 when Penang was part of the British Crown colony of the Straits Settlements. In the 1970s, a major expansion of the airport was carried out, during which a terminal building was constructed and the runway extended to accommodate heavy jets like the Boeing 747. Upon completion of the expansion works in 1979, the airport was renamed Penang International Airport. In December 2019, Malaysian Airports announced an 8 million ringgit or $1.2 million expansion plan for the airport, with work on 4 phases starting in March 2020 and to be completed by 2024. This would raise the capacity of the airport from 6.5 million passengers annually to 12 million a year. However, in May 2020, Chief Minister of Penang stated that the planned expansion of the airport might well take between 6 months to a year to complete as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. On the 5th of April 2020, Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow said that all international flights into Penang had ceased, although domestic flights continued. However, it would appear that airlines still do indeed operate internationally, even as far away as Hong Kong. The airport became a source of contention between Penang's state government and the Malaysian federal government in recent years, as transportation infrastructure throughout Malaysia fell under the purview of the Malaysian federal government. Calls by the Penang state government to expand the airport largely went unheeded, even though the airport has exceeded its maximum capacity of 6.5 million passengers. In 2017, the federal authorities finally announced plans to expand the airport to accommodate 12 million passengers per year by 2029. The airport expansion was stalled somewhat from 2020 to 2022 due to issues with land acquisition and funding. However, the Malaysian Transport Ministry has reaffirmed its expansion plans. Some 18 passenger airlines and around 11 cargo airlines operate into and out of Penang International. So that does it for some history for you. This place has been around a while and gone through some upgrades over the period of time. So let's have a look at runways now. Okay, so runways at Penang. As you can see, I've lowered the lighting. It's 6:15 in the evening local time. Penang International Airport operates a single runway, 0422, measuring 11,004 feet, or 3,354 meters, and is constructed from concrete. The airport lies at an elevation of 10 feet, or 3 meters, and sits within the GMT UTC plus 8 hours time zone. Since the UK moves forward during daylight saving time and Malaysia does not observe daylight saving time, currently Penang is 7 hours ahead of the UK. So both ends of the runway feature high-intensity runway lighting, high-intensity airfield lighting system, and precision approach path indicators on both sides. And we're looking right now down the throat at runway 04, which features a standard instrument landing system, 2 RNP approach options, and a VOR approach option. You can also see the VOR here right at the foot of runway 04. And everything is pretty much as it should be. You've got the PAPIs, 2 of them on either side. There's the high intensity airfield lighting system. You've got approach lights here, which I think are the default that have been left in, and as I've said many times before, even though these aren't listed on the charts, perfectly happy to have them in the sim. Anything that helps you make a landing during the low visibility hours is perfectly acceptable to me. So just a closer look at the runway 04 threshold. As you can see, you've got here the airfield lighting system, no centerline lighting, but you've got the PAPIs, and everything looks quite good. This is all as per the charts, except for the approach lighting system, which I'm really not going to complain about. There on the left you can see the windsock. So let's go and have a look at runway 22, the other end. So here we're looking down the throat of runway 22, and as you can see, just as it should be, high intensity airfield lighting system, PAPIs on both sides of the runway there. And again, you've got these short approach lighting system which aren't listed on the charts, but again it's perfectly acceptable to help you make a landing here. So runway 22 features an RMP and a VOR approach option only, no ILS at this end. And again, just a closer look to show you there, and you've also got a windsock again on the left side of the runway, just to the left of the PAPIs there. So that does it for runways. Let's go and do the jetway test now. Okay, jetway test. So here we are at Penang. Let's try the jetway, see how it works. Right, once again the stairwell at the side goes into the concrete, but as I've said before, that happens in almost 100% of the jetway tests I see. But the wheels move, and from here that looks like a reasonable connection. It has gone through the side. Let's have a closer look. And there you can see it's just about gone through the side. Jetway looks really nice though, especially with the hoardings and the advertisements. Let's have a look from the other side. Yeah, not bad. As you can see, both sides have gone through the skin, but that's not really a problem. So let's go inside the jetway and see if we can see in through the door. Okay, firstly, since I've opened the door, you can now see it's gone through the side of the jetway. However, let's look inside. So that's the best view I can get. Unfortunately, the jetway is not modelled well enough to be able to sit inside the door and look in. Wherever you move backwards or forwards, you hit the jetway itself. Let's go inside. So there we go, looking out from the inside of the aircraft, you can see the doorway. There really isn't a lot of space to be able to move the camera in here and have a look at the doorway. Yeah, not the best jetway connection internally, but it's good enough. So let's disconnect the jetway. Once again, the hood springs back like it does on almost every jetway, and there's a delay before the jetway moves. But the animation's fine. Visually the jetway looks nice, so no real complaints. And there you go, that does it for the jetway test. So there you go, having done the jetways, now let's start the main tour of the airport. We're back in the daytime, and I've decided to start out here, right out at the very end of runway 03 by the beach. Right in front of us there you've got the VOR station, and such a joy to see the road, access road to the VOR station modelled, including bits and pieces here and the boundary fence and gates that take you from the airport road. This road is modelled all the way around, and there are stanchion lights across the traffic road here and out to the VOR station, which is really nice. So let's start from here and go in towards the airport and have a look airside first. So as you can see, you've got the gates model there, including the signs, a couple of containers, and here you can see the access road actually divides. You've got two options there, and right around the airport. And again, there's the stanchion lights. It'll be interesting to see if those are lit at night. So to the right there we've got the 04 runway threshold. And now we turn across towards the main airport airside. Here you've got the balancing ponds, which actually are really quite nicely modelled, considering you do often get terrain anomalies here. So here we are airside. As you can see, it's really nice. Just a quick stop look there at the fence line you can see in the distance, and the lights and the road, and lots of containers and bits and pieces here on the ramp at the cargo centre area. So let's continue the airside tour. As you can see, lots of ground clutter, some nice details on the buildings, fence line, some signage. I mean, everything looks really quite good. So here we come towards the main ramp where you guys will be parking. And the ground concrete textures look great. The signage on the ground looks good, markings, all looks really good here. Terminal of course looks really nice. It's been nicely modelled. There you've got the name on the outside there. And here we are coming to some of the stands. Nice to see some detail on the airside roads as well. So let's get down a little bit and have a look. So there you can see the stands. There's some vehicles parked there. Well, it all looks pretty impressive. Notice the concrete is grooved as well. I really like that concrete texture. There you got some animated flags in the distance. There's a control tower. Out here you've got your helicopter base here as well. And here you can see more ground clutter, and we're just heading out towards the fire station here. There's the fire station, a couple of default fire engines there. That's nicely modelled. Love the palm trees. Everything looks really quite nice. And as we cross the runway to the other side, here you can see more buildings, general aviation, cargo, some nice vehicles there, and pretty much most of them sitting in the correct parking spots. Loads of cargo containers. This area has been nicely done as well. Notice the concrete texture is weathered. Very nice. It's just really nicely done. Again, the ground markings are excellent. You got the right amount of clutter, and they 3D modelled the airside road that goes around the building, and there's the fence line. All of these are nice touches that just make the airport complete, in my opinion. Very nicely done. So we start with just a close look at the ramp area where my aircraft is parked. Here you can see the amount of detail. That grooving on the tarmac looks wonderful. Okay, some people are probably going to be complaining about how new the signage looks, but I like it, I really do. It's no problem at all. A couple of ground power units there and various vehicles. And nice advertising hoarding on the side of the JETWAYS, which I really like. And just a quick look down the road there. And in the other direction. It all looks really nice. No real complaints at all. So as you can see from this shot, we've got some internal development of the terminal. Let's pop inside and have a look. So there you can see the terminal's been nicely developed. Okay, they've not overdone it, they haven't gone mad, but it does look quite pleasant. So there you've got one of the gates complete with the tensor barriers that we used to use these when I was at Heathrow and Gatwick. Perfectly common in many airports. The seating looks really nice actually. Here you've got your airline departure desk and there's the gate. And here's another thing I like. You go very close up to this sign and it really isn't too bad at all. Okay, slightly blurred because we've gone really up close. If I bring it back a bit. I mean, it's good. It looks really good. And there I've moved the camera slightly so you get a shot out of the window. So that's quite a nice image. You can see the aircraft. You've got the misted glass. I mean, Penang, when the weather's nice, it's really nice. Sun's quite powerful. So you've got this misted glass to stop you getting blasted by the sun. And that's nice. The effect is perfectly acceptable. And just a quick shot internally there, you've got shoe shine. You just go and have a seat and the guy comes along and does your shoes for you. And there you've got a shot to the left, which is a photo, but the resolution is good enough to make it believable. And there you can see the corridor that goes down to all the gates, and we've got other little bits and pieces. And again, you've got more seating, more barriers, access to various gates there too. So just a very quick tour down the airside departure lounge. As you can see, various shops and bits and pieces represented by photos there. Toilets. This has been nicely modelled. My only criticism is there are no people, and that's to some extent what would bring it alive a little bit. But as I've said before, developers sometimes choose to go this far but not any further. I respect that. But very nicely done. And again, a nice effect outside the glass. And the whole thing's topped off by an advertising hoarding there that is really clear. So as we travel back to the other end where we started, as you can see, there's an upper level. Let's just go in through there. Right, I presume these are meant to be offices, but again, no real detailed modelling. Just looks fine, it's not a problem. But as you can see below, the terminal continues on with the modelling we've already seen. Very nice indeed. So there's the roof modelling, which looks really good. The terminal really does look exactly like it should. Let's pop across the land side and see what we have. Some of the buildings here are not really weathered. You've got this very intense green and the purple over there to the left, with no weathering unfortunately, but the buildings are good, they're nicely modelled. Cars are in the right place, nothing sticking into buildings, which is a really good thing. And there you've got vehicle entrances with lorries and stuff. It looks nice. Just the buildings look a little bland because they're not entirely weathered. This of course is a freight entrance. Again, you've got this modelling and signage. It was a really high quality. As we come landside of the terminal here, again, nice quality modelling, no photoreal, it's all been modelled to 3D, which is nice. And here we go, landside of the terminal. Interesting that the lower roads have been 3D modelled. but up here they've not. You've just got this concrete. And again, it would have been nice to see a couple of taxis and a couple of static people, just to give it a bit of atmosphere. I mean, I understand some of you won't even touch this. You're more concerned with what's available out there airside for the aircraft, and I accept that. But they've gone to this level, you'd think they'd just go a little further. Here's McDonald's even, and again, it would have looked really nice if we've had a couple of people standing around. On the left there, you've got the big multi-story. So there's the big multi-story, no cars inside, I'm afraid. Again, would have been nice to have that populated to a small amount. So crossing over the airside fence again, back into airside here, you've got various little bits and pieces. There you've got a security point with an entrance gate, another landside car park. We'll cross back into airside again. Here's the control tower. There's no modelling inside. It is built, the interior is built, but there's nothing inside as such. So there we are, you can see there's no internal modelling, and you can't see throughout the windows, which is a pity. And a nice little model fire station along with fire engines. Again, the interior isn't modelled fully. The colours look nice, but they are a bit bland because there's no weathering there. I'd hate to describe them as violent, I don't mean it that way. They're just, they're not completely weathered, and they kind of kill the atmosphere a bit really. But you know, you can't really complain about the modelling quality. It's great. Everything down to the tarmac lines here has been nicely done. So there's just a high level look across the airport towards landside, and it's quite extensive. It looks really good. Even the road, see they've modelled the road here quite a long way up, which is quite nice. So as we go across the runway to the other side, we have a closer look at this area we looked at in the tour earlier on. As you can see, the modelling is perfectly acceptable here. Some nice containers, the signage is good. Again, you know, no, it's all quite simple, nothing to write home about, it's not been overdone. But it looks good. Okay, so that's it for the daytime. Let's lower the lighting now to dusk and have a look and see what the lighting looks like in the darkness hours. Okay, 6:30 local time, and the lights came on about 18:27, 6:27. So here we've just got the lighting come on, and you can see the effect is quite pleasant. That's looking across to the terminal area. And there's a nice shot looking out to sea. You've got the runway 04 threshold below us, and you can see the lights shining on the airside road that goes all the way out to the end there, which is excellent. And there we are looking towards the threshold of runway 22 in the distance. This whole airport, the location is very, very nice, especially at this time of the day. And the buildings, these are the default buildings, I believe. They don't look too bad. They look a lot better than I'd expected them to. And generally everything really does look nice here. So let's get down to the ramp and have a look at the lighting where we park. So here's my aircraft on stand Alpha 2, and as you can see, the scene is very pleasant. Looking in through the windows, you can see through the glass to the internal development of the terminal, which looks really good. And again, would have been nice to see some people. This whole area is a bit devoid of even engineers moving down on the ground here. I think there are one or two about, but it would be nice to see version 1.3 maybe of this scenery with people added in the right places and just a little more work being done. The airport is ripe for it. It could be a really truly stunning place with a bit more work. But no, that's not a criticism, that's just my thoughts. Let's get a closer look at the building. So there we are, looking in through the windows. You can see inside the terminal, and below us there you've got the roadway with the cars parked. I mean, it's a nice effect, looks very pleasant. Let's just pop inside quickly. And as you can see, internal lighting is perfectly good, no problems at all, even though I can't really see the source of where the light is coming from inside here. And there's a shot looking out through the windows. I mean, the inside is quite bright really, but yeah, no complaints. The effect, certainly when you pull up, is perfectly acceptable. And given that, let's have a quick look from the flight deck. So here's the view from the captain's seat inside the flight deck. When you park up during the darkness hours, this is the view you will get. Perfectly acceptable, and looks quite realistic, to be honest. There's a view through the captain's window and looking across through the first officer's window. So quite acceptable really, no problems at all there. So as you can see, excellent lighting, not an Asobo globe floating around anywhere in sight. All looks good. I love the sands and the advertisement, they all reflect the colouring, which looks really good. Again, another airport that just comes to life a little bit more in the darkness hours. Would be nice to see some people moving about through the terminal. And there we are looking in the other direction. I mean, it looks great. Plenty of light here. And here we are landside. We've got this lovely glow coming from somewhere in the roof area there. It's very nice. Like I say, it really would make it if it was populated with some vehicles, and if they'd done this road to the same level as this one in terms of detail, added a few taxis, few cars or whatever, and some people stood around, really would have enhanced it. Such a nice front of terminal there. It really is asking to be developed a little bit more to give it some atmosphere. But the lighting is lovely, very nice. And here, as we look at the car parks landside generally, lighting's very subtle, especially on the buildings there. Looks really quite nice. No lighting on the multi-storey car park, which is a pity, but then they've got no cars in them, so I understand that. But they're looking towards the north. You can see all these buildings here landside. The view and the effect is really quite nice. So let's just tour back into airside. We'll pass the control tower. Again, you've got various bits of subtle lighting here. So not really much lighting in terms of anything in the tower at all. And as we go here towards the fire station, I think I'm a little disappointed that there's no lighting down here too. This is another place that could be nicely lit and just add a touch of realism by adding some lighting there. Would look really good. Well, there's a high level shot at dusk, just showing you the terminal, and if you look to the left here you can see plenty of signage out on the taxiways. Got the blue airfield edge lights, we even got green centerline lights, so taxiing in and out of this area really shouldn't be a problem. So as we pass over the taxiways and across the runways out to the cargo area on the other side of the runway here, and again some nice subtle lighting, all looks really pleasant. No complaints about this at all. It really does look nice. And as we come out here towards the end here, look, there's the fence line and you've got lighting. Okay, so now we're encountering some globes. But then as we go to this airside road that goes all the way down to the VOR station, and you can see the light poles properly placed and giving the correct lighting, just as indeed as they should. Just crossing the threshold of 04 there, there's the approach lighting, and the taxiway lighting looks perfectly adequate, plenty of signage. And here we come to this little cargo point, just sort of south of the main terminal complex. All in all, this looks very nice indeed. We cross over the fence line to landside here. And these are the areas we looked at during the day. And again, you've got this subtle lighting that just does it. It's very, very nice. Huge improvement over the other sceneries for Penang Airport, I have to say. This is my favourite. So there we go, that's dusk. As you can see, the sun is rapidly dropping down. Let's turn it down to night time now and have a look and see how much improved the lighting is. Okay, 20 minutes to 10 in the evening, and as you can see, darkness is well upon us. One thing about Malaysia, when it gets dark at night, it really does get dark. It's literally blackness. I stayed on the island of Langkawi many years ago, had a week out there and a couple of days in Kuala Lumpur, so I can vouch for what the sky looks like at night. There you can see the moon dropping in the distance, and as you can see, the ramp area airside looks great. Plenty of light, all sourced from the correct lights, and you've got your taxiway lighting as well to help you get there. So once again, let's have a look at the ramp. And once again, beautiful lighting, not overdone in my opinion. It looks great here. It shows up all the quality of the texturing and modelling. I really like the signage on the ground. It's clear and crisp. Okay, you should argue it may be covered with oil stains, but I just like the way it is. It's great. JETWAYS look good, the terminal looks great, you can see inside. And looking in the other direction, it's great. No complaints at all. The lighting is really wonderful. And here we are landside looking from the other direction. Again, really nice lighting. No problem at all. We get this occasional situation here where cars don't sit properly inside the zones. As far as I understand it from a developer, there is a thing in the Microsoft SDK that allows you to put cars, but it's a kind of a default thing. And in many of the really good sceneries, the vehicles are hand placed, so you get around this problem where the vehicles are not sitting correctly. There is this developer Shadescene's also produced a lovely, really lovely scenery for Langkawi that has the same problem with the cars, but also has issues where the cars, some of them are actually embedded in the buildings. And again, it's caused by this default sort of throwing problem where you use this command and it throws cars down onto a certain area but doesn't place them properly. And most of the good developers get around that by hand placing vehicles, much in the same way as they hand place lights or trees or foliage or whatever. So I mean, it doesn't really make any difference here. It looks great. There's nothing seriously out of place, and I haven't found any vehicles embedded in buildings. In fact, if we look at this shot here, there's plenty of option for that to happen, but actually it doesn't. The cars are nicely placed. Okay, this one's outside of the space, but as you can see, nothing interferes with the buildings or the structures. It all sits quite well. There's a security gate that goes into airside. And here you can see the controlled truck access to the cargo side on this side of the runway here. And again, placement of vehicles, that nothing's sort of breaking into a building or anything like that. And as we look at this high level shot across to the other side there, you've got that cargo area on the other side of the runway. Again, is all completely well lit, just like the this side is. I haven't seen any vehicles traversing the runway, but they are crossing the runway at various points, so it's something to be aware of when you make a landing. Okay, so that was night time. Let's bring the dawn up. Okay, 6:25 in the morning, and as you can see, the sun is behind me, and you've got this lovely glow on the buildings, and the lights on the terminal area ramp have disappeared now, and it all looks pretty nice. And there's the cargo area on the eastern side of the runway there, on the other side of the runway, and you can see the sun coming up in the distance. Well, this all looks very, very nice. Okay, 7:30 in the morning, and time to give you my thoughts and conclusions. Do I like this scenery? Yeah, absolutely. There's at least one other commercial scenery out, and possibly a freeware as well. But this trumps them all at the moment. It's got everything. The only thing that, probably the only criticism I have, I sort of hesitate to say criticism because it's not meant that way. The airport has been nicely designed and nicely done. There are two things I'd like to see added if they indeed decide to upgrade this scenery. I'd like to see some people inside the terminal and landside as well, with some taxis, just to sort of update the ambience of the airport. It's very, very nicely done, but it's very pristine. The other thing I'd like to see is a bit more weathering on the buildings. You've got some very bland, powerful colour here, for example, and here the green on the rooftops. And the buildings here are really, again, wonderfully modelled, but there's not much in the way of weathering. And again, it would probably increase the ambience. But this is something for Shadescene to decide to do or not, as the case may be. At the moment, as a standalone scenery, it looks great, and I like it a lot. It's a big improvement over anything else. Is it right for the price? Yes, I think it is. Just under €15 or just over $15. And remember, those prices include tax. I think it's great. I think it's nicely, competitively priced. And it contains an awful lot more than the other versions that are available at the moment. So Shadescene, thank you very much for doing a really nice rendition of Penang. You've also done a great scenery of Langkawi Island, which is somewhere close to my heart. I've been there many years ago with my wife, and I have very fond memories of that. It's a bit of a it has certain memories for me, and I like to fly there on a computer out of Kuala Lumpur. And they've done Langkawi as well, to the same standard as this. Very, very nice. So yeah, it's a great scenery at a great price if you like to fly in the Far East. I would like to see some people inside the terminal, a little bit more around, and landside as well, maybe a few more, some taxis and some more development on the landside road by the terminal would really sort of help this a bit, I think. But it's a nice airport in a nice location, beautifully modelled, fits in well with the terrain, no complaints at all, apart from the suggestions I've made. So well done, Shadescene. Can't wait to review the Langkawi scenery, which will be coming shortly. So there you go, folks. Penang International Airport in Malaysia, Whiskey Mike Kilo Papa. It's a payware scenery by a company called Shadescene, and we're looking at version 1.1, which is available for the PC and I believe for Xbox as well. You can get it from Sim Market, and you can get it from the Flightsim.To website as well. It's ever so slightly cheaper at Flightsim.To. Their prices include tax now, but there's not much to choose between the two. Give you the Sim Market price, €14.39, which equates to roughly $15.69 US, or £12.32 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are all conversion estimates from the euro, and they do indeed include tax or VAT, which could vary slightly depending on where you are when you make your purchase. So a wonderful little airport in a nice location, lots of options to fly in here from all over the Far East and the Middle East as well. So there you go, folks. Thank you for joining me on this review. I hope it's helped you. I think it's the best version out here so far. That's my opinion. It's at a right price, and if you've been on the fence about wondering whether to get it or not, yeah, no hesitation at all about recommending this. So this is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, wrapping up another review. Look out for the second review this week, which will be Henderson Executive Airport, which sits just a couple of miles outside of Las Vegas City in the US, and we'll be looking at that, a latest version of that airport released by Gary Summons at UK 2000 Scenery. We'll have a good look at that one. So guys, thanks again, have a good week. I will see you in the next review. This is Lee saying bye for now.